actually scored a perfect 100%, which is pretty cool. This growth and achievement reflects the incredible effort and commitment of our students, obviously, but also our staff and families. We have many staff with us tonight. I'm just so proud of our effort. Just very quickly, just so everybody has an understanding, the MSIP 6 is the state's accountability system for reviewing and accrediting school districts. The APR, annual performance report, measures performance in several areas: academic achievement, college and career readiness, student attendance, graduation rates, and school climate. While it's an important data point, the APR represents a snapshot in time and is among many tools that we use to plan for continuous improvement. Through the MTSS, which is our multi-tiered system of supports framework, we continue to see strong academic gains across our district. Our focus on high-quality instruction, because of our teachers and our staff, targeted interventions and aligned systems is making a measurable difference in our student success, and we are seeing that. While the APR score is not the ultimate measure of who we are or what we value, we recognize its role in today's educational landscape. As we deepen our understanding of the MSIP 6 process, we're becoming more strategic in maximizing points and improving performance in all measured areas. Some aspects, like student growth calculations, remain complex, but we're committed to learning and improving every year. Above all, we remain steadfast in our mission to engage, empower, and inspire every learner every day. We are all in for our students and community, and you can tell. And we're grateful for your continued support. The SCSD is truly a great place because of the people who call it home, and I see many of them in the room tonight. It's an optimal time to be a part of our district. I mean, it is optimal. We have a ton of momentum, so let's keep going. You can clap one more time for that. More great news, a little special shout out. Congratulations to Lincoln Elementary for being listed as best schools in the state of Missouri in the yearly U.S. News and World Report rankings. Lincoln is just, third place out of 1,830 elementary schools in the state of Missouri. You can clap for that too. We are so proud of our school district and happy for Lincoln to be recognized as one of the best in the state. Way to go, Lions. Recently, we had our district-wide PD Day for certified staff, and it was packed full of great informative information, which gave our staff ample opportunities to grow as well. A special thanks goes out to our CNI department, our DBDC, for all their hard work. Not on cue, that's not on cue. For all their hard work in setting up our PD and learning, and I think our staff would tell me or tell us that we did pretty much half-day PD with workshops, and then the second half they were able to work in their PLCs, and I think they really enjoyed that. Yes? That's what I thought. You can clap for that. Yeah. Our DBDC does a great job of listening to our students, our staff needs, and really makes that a special day for everybody of learning. I got more. A team of board and central office team members recently attended the Missouri State Board Association Conference. It was a great conference to attend. For me, it was beneficial to spend time with the board and COT members in the conference setting. Strong relationships helps enhance the work we do together. I also benefited from the collaborations with other statewide districts. There is a nice balance between seeing and hearing many things we already do, reinforces what we're doing and we're on the right track, and learning new strategies to help enhance our overall operation of the district. I was also given the opportunity to join in on a presentation with our architect firm BLDD. That was a great experience as well. I want to thank board members Heidi, Ellen, Karen, and Tammy for attending with us in Kansas City. The Sister Cities German Exchange program is with us. Students and staff group is here visiting St. Charles. We met a principal and a teacher at each of the schools this past Wednesday. It's great having them. Did anybody make it tonight? I thought maybe they were going to slide in. Anybody from Germany in here? It was great having them. It was great having them here. This last Tuesday, November 11th, was Veterans Day. There were several ways our schools celebrate our veterans throughout the district. Please join me in thanking all of our men and women who have served and who are serving for our freedom. Happy Veterans Day, everyone. All service, we're gonna clap, yep. All service members and veterans in the room, please stand up to be recognized at this time. Do we have anybody in the room? All right. We can clap one more time for our veterans. As stated in last month's board meeting, The MSBA, our Missouri School Boards Association, has an annual student scholarship. It's called the John T. Belcher Award that is awarded to a graduating senior in each of the 17 MSBA regions, and one regional winner will be selected as a state winner. Our nominee is from St. Charles High. Daniel Waters, is he with us tonight? I thought maybe he'd stop by. No, it's okay. So Daniel, congratulations to Daniel, and good luck in your application process. We're all rooting for you, and you can clap for Daniel. It's like a rally tonight, Mr. Shields. You loving it? Mr. Shields is loving it. The winter season is upon us. No, we're not talking about snow days. I don't like snow days. That was supposed to be funny. Detailed information regarding our inclement weather for snow and AMI days, plans, and communication process was sent out to all families in the November newsletter. Please note, we will use our first 3 days, will be our 3 built-in snow days first, if needed, for any inclement weather days that we have. We also have an emergency packet this year for K through 4 if we get into a situation where we need to call an AMI day and we don't have the Chromebooks home for those grade levels, so we can use that as well. I'm assuming staff love that idea? Yes. We have 5 AMI days to use after our 3 built-in snow days. And again, I do not look forward to those days. I don't care how long I've been doing this, that those aren't fun days, but our number one goal is to make sure we keep everybody safe. Our fall sports season has ended. Our cross-country teams had a great finish. St. Charles High Elijah Case came in 3rd place in the state 4A race. Let's give him a hand. And those St. Charles West girls took 2nd place. That means the last 5 years as a team, they took 2nd, 1st, and a 2nd. You can clap for that. And then we have back-to-back individual champion Brianna Kruger, who is a junior at St. Charles West, so she'll be back for the 3-peat next year, and boy, she can run. It's unbelievable. Dr. Lewis was able to be there. Was it awesome? It was awesome. We're so proud of our students. St. Charles West just put on their fall play last weekend, and St. Charles High is up in a week, right? Yeah. Are we excited? Yeah, we're very excited. All right. That's exciting. We're looking.
It's going to be funny, creepy, and lots of effects.
All right. All right. Going to be good? Yes. All right. Well, of course. We're going to get to see the star here in just a second. There you go. This is awesome. And then also a shout out. We have a lot of students making their mark in the music program, with several earning St. Louis Suburban Honors in concert band, jazz band, and district choir. So let's clap for all them too. I'm telling you, our students and our staff are just, I mean, it's unbelievable the things we're doing right now. Turkey tip-off is next Tuesday, the 25th at St. Charles High. Come on out and watch the girls and boys teams play. We're excited about that. That's always a fantastic night as well. And then we also mentioned the play then, actually the play is the weekend before that, so we're looking forward to that. We have worked hard to prepare for this meeting. We got a lot going on. Obviously, you're here for that. We have consent agenda items, health services program review. We'll have a CSIP review update, high school graduation credit discussion and vote, AI presentation, policy changes, a resolution, a motion, and then also a district financial report. So a lot going on. So I'm almost done, but I want to make sure I say this. It's hard to believe it's mid-November. This year is moving along quickly as we prepare for the upcoming break, because it's coming. I know it doesn't seem like it is, teachers, but it's coming, staff. I promise you it's coming. And I just want to wish at this time, because our next meeting won't be to December, but I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. We have a lot of things to be thankful for in not only our country, but our state and our region, but also here at the SCSD. This is a special place. I know I'm thankful for the wonderful people, our staff, students, community members who make up our great district. So I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. With that said, I also want to say we are in the midst of a very productive start to the 25-26 school year. We're probably in one of the best times our school district has seen in terms of APR, fund balance, you name it. We're really doing some great things. And as stated earlier, we have a ton of momentum in the district right now. We are performing at a high level in most areas. And I just want to encourage all of us to continue to be all in together as we focus on engaging, empowering, inspiring every school or every SCSD learner every day. And I know that's cliche. I know I say that a lot of times, but I truly believe in our CSIP work and being all in this year. Let's stay safe. Let's stay respectful. Let's stay responsible for the betterment of our students. I know it took a little time, but there's a lot of good things to talk about. Thank you, Ms. Sigma.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Seifert. And again, very excited for our district with the APR score. I know our CO team works hard, the administrators, staff, teachers, students, and parents who support them. So big shout out to everybody. We will move on to item 3.04, which are board communications. Any?
We have none.
Okay. Item 3.05 is audience comments.
All regular and special meetings of the board shall be open to the public. Since the board desires to be a good listener and be responsive to the community, persons desiring to address the board may do so during the time so allotted on the agenda and according to established procedures. During the audience portion of each board meeting, patrons are invited by the president to speak for or against any proposal on the tentative agenda or on any other school concern. The individual is asked to identify him or herself, limit comments to a few minutes, and avoid discussing personalities. The president reserves the right to limit the number of presentations and/or length of comments. At the direction of the president, patrons may be recognized at other times during the board meeting. The board is very interested in audience comments. According to board policy, members cannot respond during the actual meeting. The board will listen to audience comments, and if necessary, additional follow-up will occur through district administrators.
Thank you, Daniel. So we have several audience comments tonight, and just as a reminder, as Daniel said, it's 3 minutes, so Kelly will have a timer. If you hear it go off, just try to wrap up your last thoughts. But we will start in the order we receive them, so Bonnie Wendlandt will go first. If you can just, when you get up to the microphone, press the little person icon, the little head of a person, it should turn on your microphone. Yep.
Okay, following directions.
Is it on?
Okay, is this in a good position?
That is great.
Okay. Didn't know I was going to be first, but that's okay. First in, first up to speak. So, good evening, Dr. Seifried, board members, and all others in the room. My name is Bonnie Wendlandt. I am a retired educator and an active organizer for Be Smart, the St. Charles County Secure Gun Storage educational program. I am here in support of the Secure Gun Storage resolution set before you. As a Be Smart volunteer, I have spent countless hours educating the St. Charles community on the importance of secure gun storage. Hundreds of conversations have been held with people from all walks of life. Responses have been positive, with the need to protect children expressed as a high priority. I have heard the community speak, and they are asking for an end to gun violence, especially in our schools. As a school board, you not only have the opportunity to reach deep into your district and ask all families you serve to secure weapons, you actually have the responsibility to do so. Student and staff safety must come first. Guns are the #1 killer of our nation's children. In 2024, our then Surgeon General declared gun violence a national health crisis in America for the very first time ever. On July 9th, 2025, Governor Kehoe signed a Stronger School Safety Bill, also known as SB 68, which includes improving response teams and also the installation of anti-intruder interior door locks in all Missouri schools. Although these changes are important, these are actually reactive ideas, and they are the actions that would be taken when weapons were already in the building. You, as a school board, can be proactive tonight. Ask for secure gun storage and keep the guns at home. I urge this board to take a stand. I urge you to pass this resolution. I urge you to move forward as an example to all other school districts around you and be the change needed now. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Next up, we have Lana Ussery to speak.
Hello, my name is Lana Ursery, and I'm a senior at St. Charles High School. I'm speaking on support of the Secure Storage Notification Resolution because it's a simple, life-saving step. Making sure families know how to safely store firearms can prevent accidents suicides, and tragedies before they happen. This resolution isn't about politics, it's about protecting students and helping families stay informed. Even one life saved makes it worth it. Thank you for listening and for putting student safety first.
Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Lana. Angela Curtis.
Good evening, members of the school board, and Dr. Seifert and staff. My name is Angela Curtis. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to speak in support of the secure storage notification resolution that is on the agenda this evening. I am a district parent and a community volunteer. Through my volunteer work promoting secure storage messaging, I've learned what a crucial element it is to a school safety plan. Unfortunately, there have been enough instances of school shootings to compile data on the surrounding circumstances. Data compiled across 10+ years of school shootings tells us a few things. It tells us that a school shooter is most likely to have a connection to the school. A school shooter is likely to exhibit warning signs. A school shooter is most likely to obtain their firearm from home or the home of a relative. When I reflect on our shared responsibility of keeping kids safe, I'm reminded of being asked to bundle up the kids for their commute or recesses during a cold snap, being asked to keep them home if they are sick, being asked to see something, say something, of children being asked to practice responding to a shooter in the school and to lockdown because of a viable threat. Asking parents and caregivers to secure their firearms to help keep school campuses safe is practical, is free, is a proven strategy for preventing a school shooting, preventing unintentional shootings, and preventing suicide. As noted in the resolution, an estimated 4.6 million children in the United States live in a home with at least one gun that is loaded and unlocked. There is no time to waste in each of us doing everything we can to prevent the next gun injury or death. Secure storage is not a left or right issue. It is simply a matter of safety. Thank you for considering this resolution for the district to take a more active role in promoting secure storage. I ask you to vote yes to asking myself and my peers to help take responsibility for school safety. I'd also just like to briefly mention that if the Be Smart messaging materials you're already familiar with would make implementing the resolution smooth and easy, a co-branding licensing agreement is available so that several handouts are digitally available to the district, and I'm happy to help with that going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Angela. Next, we'll have Julie Moonier to come up and share. Yeah.
Hi, I don't know that baby. I am just making a pit stop here really quick tonight with my friends / children. I'm Julie Mounier. That's my mom. I'm a parent to 3, someday 4 students in the district. My mom is the board member encouraging the resolution to send literature home in some way about safe firearm storage. As a public institution, school districts provide health and safety interventions for the greater good in many ways, whether faculty and staff are pushing for more nutritious meals, whether it's Red Ribbon Week, screening for scoliosis, oral hygiene screenings, hearing and vision impairment screenings, or presenting to high school students about the dangers of drunk driving. We are always trying to find ways to keep our students and teachers safe and healthy. We cannot let political concerns and fear of controversy get in the way of doing what's actually right. The vast majority of school shootings are carried out using a firearm that was obtained in the home. School shootings, students bringing guns into their school for the purpose of ending the lives of their classmates and/or teachers, our loved ones and community members. Not to mention that roughly 1 child per day accidentally shoots themselves in the US. Gun violence, accidental or intentional, is the #1 killer of children in America. Not vision impairment, not drug overdose, not drunk driving, not malnutrition. The number of school shootings per year has been steadily rising since 2021. It's horrifying. We can't do nothing about this when there are simple and obvious things worth trying. If because of this resolution, one district parent second guesses their gun storage situation and one student is kept safe and alive, it is worth all the political losses and all the controversy, which may or may not be on the horizon for the district or board members. You guys should be proud to be trying to keep kids safe and alive. Please stand up for these kids and vote to approve this resolution. My husband, a paramedic firefighter who is at work tonight, approves this message. Thanks.
Thank you, Julie. Next, Mark Hollander.
Good evening, Madam President, Mr. Superintendent, school board, staff, and guests. My name is Mark Hollander. I'm the Executive Director for Vision St. Charles County Leadership. My wife and I are also the owners of La Belle Vie Cafe down in the Frenchtown neighborhood, and I'm also a St. Charles City Council member for Ward 2. Thank you for the opportunity to share tonight during this public comment section in this Benton School gymnasium where I was a petrified sixth grader trying to climb to that ceiling on the ropes. It was way, way higher when I was in sixth grade. As the son of a police officer and growing up over on Madison Street, I was exposed to firearms and handguns at a very early age. My father brought guns home, and it was not unusual for us to have them in our home and to be around them frequently. I was raised with a tremendous respect for handguns and handgun safety. Dad would return home from a day's work and place his service revolver and his off-duty revolver into a small safe that was located in his office. My little sister and I knew better than even attempt to go into that safe or into his office. Safety was always taught and enforced in our home. As an adult, I have continued to use and respect firearms. When my father passed, I inherited his service pistol and other guns that he owned. I took classes, I earned my concealed carry license, and shortly after his passing, and then maintained the respect and concern for safety and firearms as in my own home. I then had 2 young daughters, and their friends were frequent visitors in our home. I now have 2 inquisitive grandsons who are eager to explore and play hide and seek in our home. My greatest fear would be that any one of those might locate one of the handguns that I thought was just safely hidden away and decide to play with it. I now own 2 handguns, and both are secured constantly with my handgun locks that were distributed by the St. Charles Police Department several years ago. Being in favor of the Second Amendment and approving of a common sense approach to constant safety are not mutually exclusive beliefs. Anyone who owns a firearm should understand and abide by safety standards and store them when not in use, locked, secured, and separate from the ammunition. Also, as a city council member, I've also been honored to support and sponsor the Wear Orange gun safety resolution each of the last 3 years that I have served on council that has passed unanimously. Thank you for your time tonight, and I am in favor of this resolution.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Next up, Brendan Kearns.
Good evening, board members, central office administrators, and members of the St. Charles community. My name is Brendan Kearns. I'm the president of the St. Charles Education Association, the exclusive representative of certified employees and nurses in the City of St. Charles School District. I'd like to start by thanking the members of our organization who've shown up for us tonight. We have a lot to celebrate here in this district, but SCA also has some concerns. This month, we received some amazing news from our state. Our district scored a 90 on its annual APR score, the biggest improvement in the St. Louis area. This result comes from the combined work of certified and classified staff, building and central office administration, and our community to accomplish this. These results don't necessarily say everything about our district, but they are truly something to celebrate. SCEA and central office have kicked off their negotiations. Last night, we held our interest-based bargaining training session. Teachers' working conditions are students' learning conditions, and negotiating through interest-based bargaining allows both sides to come to the table to create effective solutions that help our students learn better. Concerning board business items tonight, SCEA endorses item 703, the resolution for secure firearm storage. We believe this common sense measure put forth by Director Karen O'Hearn protects students and members of our community, has been endorsed by pro-education organizations such as PTO as well as law enforcement. As one of my teacher colleagues whose family owns guns says, gun locks are about as controversial as car seats. Despite the good news, SCEA's remarks end on a down note. I'm 704, rescinding the grievance our organization filed and won on September 11th. SCEA has learned that this action was brought by a board member. When we were asked for an underlying rationale, neither central office administrators nor board members we spoke to could give us one. According to board policy GBM 1, once a decision is rendered under the grievance process, that decision is final. This board action violates that board policy. SCEA is hopeful that this issue will remain resolved as it was in September. The action sets a bad precedent for the board. We've had a number of attention-grabbing board actions in surrounding districts, and leaders of SCEA were always proud to say these sorts of actions never happened here. We're hoping our board members will see this for what it is, a political stunt, a violation of board policy, and a waste of our valuable time and resources as a board, staff, union, and community. Let's focus on moving forward and not relitigating a final decision. As a district, we have many things to celebrate, so let's direct our attention to celebrating our improvements and continuing our growth. SCEA will continue to show up advocating for students' learning conditions, staff working conditions, and to protect our union rights.
Thank you, Brendan. Next up, we'll have Beth Chamberlain to come speak.
Good evening, school board members and administrators. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Beth, and I live right here in the neighborhood. I want to thank you for presenting a resolution that promotes secure firearm storage. I'm a therapist for crime victims and a strong proponent for crime and suicide prevention. But I'm not here to talk about my professional experience, but instead about a tragic incident that happened to a friend of mine. My friend's 13-year-old grandson accidentally shot himself with a firearm in his home that belonged to a family member. The gun was loaded and was not securely stored. This young person died shortly after. Sorry. If he were alive, he would have started college this year. His family and friends will never fully recover from this tragedy, and the family member who owned that gun will live with regret for the rest of his life. I am for any actions that will increase safety and prevent intentional or accidental injuries or deaths. I am heartened by this resolution and hope that it will pass. I believe that if we work together, we can and will save lives. Thank you again for allowing me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Beth. Next is Jason Love, Jr. Good evening.
As you stated, I'm Jason Love. I'm the school resource officer at St. Charles High. I didn't come with a statement or anything like that. I didn't know it was going to be like this. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. I just came here to show my support. Everything that everyone has said, I mean, they touched on every bullet point pretty much. Secure gun safety is optimal in keeping our youth safe. We even start, me and Officer Sanginetti, we even start as young as age 4 with teaching gun safety in our safety town that we have at the ECC. We provide not gun storage, but we provide gun locks that are pretty simple to use and pretty effective in preventing youths getting a hold of them. So I just wanted to come to show my support. I'm missing supper with my family, so anybody who knows me knows it's Jesus first, then my family. So, yeah, I just wanted to come and show my support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And next we'll have Kayla Gilmore.
Hi there. I come as a representative of our MSTA members across the district and in our multiple schools. The comments that they had for us this month really come down to three things. We were really excited about the success of our District Professional Development Day. A lot of our members said that they really felt a sense of community in the morning over at St. Charles West, but they had a lot of business that they obtained and got around to in the afternoon after they were able to work with one another. So they really appreciated the time to work with one another. The second thing that our members said is that they are more than elated about our MSIP scores, as Dr. Seifert is as well. They said that that was really a reflection of the hard work put in by our administration and then followed through by our teachers. So they said that they are really proud that that's a reflection of how much effort and work we all put into our students and into our district. The third thing that our members said this month is that they are really excited about the change potentially coming for the number of credit hours that are required for graduation. A lot of our members are in support of this change because they feel like the amount that they can do for their students increases, along with the instructional time that we'll see with our students, and as well as the consistency in seeing our students every day at the high school level, every day rather than every other day. Lastly is that we want to celebrate 3 of our members that are headed to the Missouri State Conference over in Columbia. Myself, B. Underwood Sweet, and Gina Linhoff are headed over to Columbia next week to represent St. Charles School District as we meet with other members of MSTA across the state. Together, the 3 of us are going to take part in the voting of what MSTA supports and opposes, and we are going to continually fight for our teachers every day. So thank you, board. Thank you, Dr. Seifert and administration.
Thank you. That ends our audience comments. We will move on to item 3.06. If Dr. Happel wants to come up and introduce our student. Well, or not.
Dr. Happel, please do.
You come introduce, sir.
Dr. Happel, everybody.
Yes.
Sorry, hi. I'd like to introduce Mrs. Colleen Ney to speak as our representative for St. Charles High School this month.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good evening, City of St. Charles Board of Education, Dr. Seifert, community, and others. My name is Colleen Ney, and I'm a senior here at St. Charles High School. For those of you who may not know me, I think it is safe to say I am quite involved at school. But I'm here to give you the student update about our National Honor Society, which I am the president of, along with a couple other things. So our NHS board set a focus for our chapter this year, which was for our members to get involved in a community through service, one of our pillars. With the help of my board members, we decided to host a children's book drive for the Early Childhood Center and Parent as Teachers program here in the district. Why? Some might ask. Well, literacy is an important part of life. It is how we gain knowledge. At the early childhood stage, books build the brain. They develop the child emotionally and socially, and it builds a learner for life. We're truly setting up our children for success when we teach them to read. By providing for our little learners, it also helps them set up for going to kindergarten here in the SCSD. Books are also very expensive. Families should not have to worry about paying $20+ for a book, or maybe 2, hopefully, that their child might grow out of within a couple months. So we decided to host a Spirit Week to raise awareness of our book drive here at the high school the week of Halloween. Each day was themed to the best-selling children's books. We had Goodnight Moon, A Bad Case of the Stripes, The Cat in the Hat, Where the Wild Things Are, and Spookly Square Pumpkin. Our students had the chance to participate through dressing up and donating cash or new or gently used children's books. The AIPs, which are our homerooms, went head-to-head against their opposing grade AIPs. We kept track of the points and cash on tally sheets, and at the end of the week, we tallied it all up. We are so lucky to have a large donation from our Chick-fil-A leadership group here at St. Charles High from last year. Along with Dr. Kimsey, the principal down at Knoll, she donated an astonishing amount, over like 1,400 books, which is crazy, from the help of some of her teachers. So one of the afternoons after school in the hallway, we had a couple students come and help us from our NHS, and we tallied up all the books, and we came to our final total for the Early Childhood Center, and our total was 2,777 books. Wow. And that was just the number that was donated. There was more than that. Now, there were some that were not in suitable condition or they might have been too old for the children, and we're going to hopefully donate those. I'm going to reach out to either Jefferson or Hardin to see if they'd be interested in those for some of their leadership groups. But NHS isn't the only people here at St. Charles High that is doing good for our community. Our FCCLA, which is the Family Career Community Leaders Club of America, is hosting the annual turkey drive for the past 13 years. They are raising money to purchase turkeys, and they are donated to an organization called No Hunger Holiday. This organization matches the turkeys with the rest of the ingredients needed to make a Thanksgiving meal and donates to families in need. Our student council is also hosting the annual canned food drive here against St. Charles West to celebrate the turkey tip-off and donate to the St. Louis Area Food Bank. They're looking for non-perishable food items such as cans of vegetables, pasta, oatmeal, and stuff like that. If you guys want to donate, just show up to one of the high schools and they'll have locations for either of you guys to donate also. This competition drive has been going on for a numerous amount of years, and it makes a really big difference in the community. It started off the 6th of this month and will end on the 25th. Turkey tip-off is soon, so stay tuned for the final counts. Key Club is also raking leaves for the elderly in the neighborhood of SCHS. Their members are quite involved, and they also help out with other clubs like Student Council and FCCLA with their drives. Key Club is also hosting a blood drive, so look forward to that in the spring with the Red Cross. Speaking of the spring, we also have our community club working on setting up a rock garden to beautify the school. They will have some of the preschoolers paint some rocks and our AIPs too to have everyone participate. This is just a mere look into our school clubs and how hard they are working to improve our community and district. Along with our clubs, I want to put a quick spotlight on our arts program here at St. Charles High, which I know we have mentioned numerous times tonight. I'm quite involved in the arts as well. This is my second year as a drum major, but my 4th overall in our marching band, and I've been a member of our concert band for the past 4 as well. Since my freshman year, our program has grown tremendously. I know it's the same over at St. Charles West and at Hardin, especially with the new director this year, Ms. Hotz. My last marching season was truly the best. Over the course of the season, we won many awards, including Best Percussion, Outstanding Color Guard, and Outstanding Drum Majors, all at our last competition. Ms. Hotz has brought organization, leadership, and so much excitement to our band. We are lucky to have her. Our entire music department is looking forward to the Nashville trip in April. Our students have fundraised for themselves with assistance from parent organizations like the Band of Pirate Parents, which they are going to make some great memories on this trip. Some of the events on the trip include a backstage tour of the Grand Ole Opry, the RCA Studio B tour, where artists like Dolly Parton and Elvis have recorded, and even seeing a Broadway performance of Sister Act at the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. Our AP Art students are always hard at work on their portfolios. They work on a certain topic of their choice and compose about 15 or so pieces that represent their entire topic over the course of the school year. And then they get submitted to the AP board in May, so let's keep those AP scores up. And then finally, like we've already mentioned before, our St. Charles High Theater Department has been extremely hard at work for the past 6 weeks under the direction of Ms. Courtney Gibson and her team. Her mother, who has been a part of the City of St. Charles Board of Education since 2008, Mrs. Lori Gibson, is our creative director. Along with the assistant director, Ms. McKenna Hendershot, a special education math teacher at Hardin Middle, and a former SCHS alumni class of 2019. And to Mr. Mike Monzi, our stage choreographer. I am the lead actress of this play, and we are performing The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I am a bit biased, but I think it's wonderful. The short story by Washington Irving, which, side note real quick, he did actually write a few plays here in St. Charles. If you go on the Ghost Tour next year, you'll learn a little bit more about it, but sorry. As it follows, though, it follows Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman. I formally invite the board and guests to come see the play on either next week of Thursday, November 20th, or the 21st, that Friday at 7 p.m. in the Gil Lauer Auditorium. You will not want to miss it. I would like to add one more item to my agenda. Thank you, Dr. Ted Happel, for the opportunity to speak to our City of St. Charles Board of Education. You constantly go above and beyond for your students through providing these educational opportunities. You truly make SCHS a better place to be. Once a pirate, always a pirate. Thank you, City of St. Charles Board of Education, for your time.
Great job, Colleen. I think your dad wanted a shout out too. No, I'm just kidding. You did. Thank you so much, Colleen. We appreciate you.
I'm just glad I did my comments before or
right?
after.
I know.
That was awesome.
You're a hard act to follow. Great job. Thank you. We will take a quick break if anybody wants to leave at this time, just a couple minutes before we proceed with the rest of the meeting.
Heidi. Yes, ma'am. I'll leave it up to you. Do you want me to read the whole thing, or do you just want me to read the resolved items?
I think just more of like a summary, like a result.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so.
Because they pretty much said
Well,
everything.
the public has had access to it, we've all had it, so, yeah. I think,
They said everything
Yeah.
that needs to be said, I think. I don't know.
yeah, no, and it'll be more, yeah. Oh, great, we're all getting sick and you're cold.
Well, my daughter wanted to say something about it. And, they had their bingo modification tonight, and they all want to play bingo, So they wanted to be here, because if you can imagine, they hear me talking about this all the time, because I work with the small ones. I will tell you. She is. She needs to sit here. I know. I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, it's next weekend. I got it on, it's on your calendar. Oh, thank you so much. It really is fun. Oh, you saw my plan. Thank you for coming and being here. Honey, this is Christy. Do you remember her?
Thank you, Ted. Where'd Karen go? Where's Karen?
She's right there in the middle.
Okay.
Just kind of gab a little bit, so let's go.
Yep. All right, we're gonna go ahead and resume the meeting. If you guys can all take a seat. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and resume the meeting. For those staying, if you could just go ahead and have a seat.
I'll have to read it again, because yeah. Okay.
All right, so we're moving on in the agenda, if everybody can quiet down. We're gonna move on to item 3.07, which is to amend or adopt the agenda. I make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes. Item 4.01 is our consent agenda. For efficiency, the school board utilizes a consent agenda. Items placed on the consent agenda are routine in nature or are among the many decisions that the board has already determined are in the domain of the administration. I make a motion we approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I second.
Daniel, second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay, we will move on. And we will go to item 6.01, which is our health services program review.
Thank you. We've got Brandy McCann who's going to be coming. She is our lead district nurse, and so she will be presenting.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandy.
Thanks, Brendan. So my name is Brandy McCann. I am the lead nurse for City of St. Charles School District, and I am also the nurse at Jefferson. Going to go over a little bit of the health services program here. City of St. Charles School District promotes healthy lifestyle choices, identifies and locates services for students with health conditions that may affect their learning, and we work to meet the needs of students with acute and chronic medical needs throughout the school day. We currently have 11 school nurses. There is one in every school. We have 2 district-wide float nurses. Those work between all the buildings to help cover short-term absences and then support the primary nurses in our busier buildings. And then we have 2 health clerks. One is split between 6 elementary schools, and the other one is split between Jefferson, Hardin, and St. Charles High School. We have a goal to provide health care and instruction to students and staff. We administer medication daily. We have timely response to healthcare needs, provide access to healthcare and first aid. We maintain proper documentation, provide education and reinforcement for chronic health conditions for students. We do provide a lot of staff education on those health conditions. And then we serve as liaisons between the school staff, families, and healthcare providers. We also like to promote safety and healthy school environments by providing leadership, maximizing time that students are able to attend school. We provide health-related resources, provide professional development for staff. We comply with the Missouri Department of Health and Human Services policies on immunizations and communicable diseases. We're getting into 6 seasons, so we see a lot of that now. We are maintaining emergency response equipment and supplies and reviewing and updating policies and procedures. These are the clinic visits for this current school year for August, September, and October. This is St. Charles High School, St. Charles West, Hardin, and Jefferson. So you can see August is lighter blue, September is darker blue, and October is orange. St. Charles West, Hardin, and Jefferson are our busier schools with the highest amount of clinic visits per day. These are the elementary schools and early childhood center, again by August, September, and October. Coverdell this year is one of our busier elementary schools, followed by Monroe, Harris, and Blackhurst. Average number of daily clinic visits. This is for it's a comparison between last school year and this school year for August through October. You can see some of the numbers have changed pretty drastically. Like Coverdell last year was averaging 27 kids per day. Currently, they're seeing about 43, while Blackhurst has gone down from 40 to 28. Again, it shows West, Hardin, and Jefferson are pretty high in their numbers, and then the other elementary schools kind of staying the same. Positive impacts, we're able to provide that immediate medical attention to students and staff as needed. We are trying to keep students in school because clearly they need to be in school to be able to learn. We're helping at-risk students receive those interventions and get access to services. We have been utilizing the Compass Clinic at Blackhurst a lot, and that's been a great resource to have. We work really hard, especially at the beginning of the year, to ensure immunization compliance, training staff, working with stakeholders, getting in the classrooms to provide instruction. We do a lot of screenings, supporting families, and then we're currently working to create and implement emergency response plans. Moving forward, currently we are working to update nursing procedures and policies because working under current best practice is vital to ensuring that our students are provided the best care while they're here at school. And it is also providing a uniformity throughout the district. We are updating our whole health services manual, and we are creating a thorough training program for our current staff and any new staff that we have that joins us. We're working really hard to utilize our staff efficiently. This year, we've kind of changed it up a little bit where our health clerks are being utilized to complete and record health screenings, which would alleviate some of the busyness of the nurses and give them time to be seeing students. We used surveys between the schools to determine which buildings had the highest needs and needed more support by nurses or health clerks. We are completing and implementing a SERP plan. The Senate Bill 68 requires all buildings to have a cardiac emergency response plan implemented by next school year. So we've been working really hard to make a uniform plan that can just be implemented into every building. And then number 4, we are really working hard on some specific professional development. Specialized health procedures in our clinics have increased from last year from 25 to 34. That includes care for diabetic students, kids that need catheterization, feeding tubes, things like that. And then we're also getting some education for students with asthma because those have increased also pretty significantly just since last year. Any questions? Alrighty, thank you guys.
Thank you, Brandy.
I just
Thank you
wanna-
very much. Good job.
Thank you, Brandy.
I just want to quickly say how thankful I am that Brandy has taken on the position as our lead nurse. She is fantastic. She just takes everything that comes to her, and then especially with Senate Bill 68 and that cardiac emergency response plan, she has taken that and just ran with it and has such great ideas. So thank you, Brandy.
I agree with that. And on top of, you can clap. And on top of that, she's got a pretty big building in Jefferson that she runs every day too, so,
Yeah,
right?
she shared, 94 student visits yesterday by herself, so.
Like I said, the sickness is a wrap.
Yeah.
Brandy, thank you.
Yes, thank you. I make a motion to approve the health services program as presented. Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes. Item 6.02 is our CSIP review update.
So this is a quick review we're going to do. One, MSIP 6, make sure that we do this at least, what, 2 times, 3 times? Quarterly, so, okay, quarterly. And so you have seen a lot of this already, but we're going to make sure that we check off a box. But it's also always great to review what is happening, because the CSIP is our plan, it is our work, what we're doing in the school district, and we're all in with it. And so just remind, I'm not going to read it all to you, but we always start off with the plan. Go ahead, Earl, you can go on down. There's a great quote by me. We love that. And then just, again, I've already said our mission once. We do not, and that's why we have it up here, we don't want to forget what we're doing, what our mission is, and that's to engage, empower, inspire every learner every day. We also have our vision. Is that coming true or what? That is awesome. And then also our values. And we won't go over all the values again, but again, I just want to make sure this is what we're living. This is what our teachers, this is what our staff, our families, and our students are living every day as our values. And so, and again, this is different than what we've done in the past in terms, we've always had a CSIP, we've always made sure we've done what we need to do to get those goals done, but we are truly living this, and everything that we do, and we do a lot, is in this plan. And so I just want to make sure that we're all clear of what the mission, the vision, and what the values look like. We're going to get through our 3 pillars real quick, and the COT members who are championing these different goals will have a quick update for you.
Perfect. So I'll go ahead and get started. Academic excellence. So remember, we have 3 goals under academic excellence. The first one is our attendance goal. The district will increase our proportional attendance from 85.3 to 90% by the end of the 2029-30 school year. Our second goal is around student achievement. So our goal is that we will hit the target destination in all 4 content areas, so ELA, math, social studies, and science. And then our last goal is to increase graduation rate and improve our college and career readiness metrics. So with that being said, we have our action steps for each of those, and we developed our year 1 priorities, which we talked about, I believe, in our August board meeting. We talked about the priorities. So we're going to give you an update on where we are in some of those priority areas. Remember, we have an entire year to focus on this, but we've gotten a good start, and so I just wanted to highlight some of that. When it comes to success-ready students, one of our goals was to create a tracking system to track, monitor students and how they are scoring on our college and career readiness assessments. So in September was a busy month for committees. We had a lot of committee meetings that got started in September, and this was one of them. I met along with Megan Bowersox, our coordinator for data learning and assessment, with our 3 high school principals, Dr. Coburnis, Dr. Vogel, Dr. Happel, and then counselors from both schools or all 3 schools. And one of the things that we started off was by auditing our current practices, and we were able to identify where the gaps and inconsistencies were when it came to tracking and monitoring students between buildings. So we wanted to tighten that up, and we came up with a pretty unified district plan to carry us through this year. One of the things that came out of this meeting, I know in our last meeting, Karen asked about ACT testing and whether or not the district would ever test students or provide students the opportunity to take the ACT test here. And that was one of the things that came out of that committee, is that we, instead of just blanketly giving all of our high school juniors the ASVAB test, we will now encourage students to take the assessment that is better aligned with their career goals, whether that be college or career readiness or military. And one of those opportunities is to now provide the ACT testing at St. Charles West, but it will be, thank you. And that will be district-wide, and we will do that twice a year, and it will start in February. Yeah. The second thing that came out of that, or the second portion of our Success Ready, was a portrait of a graduate. And so what we wanted to do was develop K-12, what are those key competencies and skills that we want our students, when they leave the City of St. Charles School District, what are those key skills that we want for them as they head into the real world? And so in September, we convened a portrait of a graduate committee. It is made up of board members, we have teachers, we have administrators, and we have members of the community. We have parents, we have members from the Economic Development Center. Lindenwood has a rep on that committee. And so we've had 2 meetings thus far. We've established our purpose and scope and process for the work ahead. We have looked at exemplars, so what are other districts doing across the country when it comes to those competencies? And we are currently identifying ways to seek stakeholder input. So how do we get input from all of our stakeholders when it comes to developing this plan? So I'm excited. We have our next meeting this upcoming Tuesday here in the boardroom at 3 o'clock. So that's an update for me on academic excellence. Are there any questions? Okay, I'm going to turn this over to resources.
Perfect. If you could just leave the slide up there for me. This is the last time I want this slide displayed. I look very haggard compared to Dr. Lewis. So if we could just eliminate that, I'd appreciate it. I don't have choice, as you can tell.
Let's make sure we keep that in there, please, Mickey. Do not tweet. I'm overruling it. I actually like to see it, Jeremy.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Gives me great hope.
We're a good team. All right. We have first one on the list is a hot topic item, as you all well know. The first one is goal 1, school configuration. Going from there, we have goal 2 is St. Charles School District will complete a facilities improvement plan. And you see the various things that we will target there, and we'll get down to those in a bit. And then goal 3 is staffing, and goal 4, financial stewardship. So some of the strategies and action steps that we have looked at and that we're currently undertaking is for the school configuration, you see the 4 elements there of analyzing enrollment trends. We have began that work. It started with the demographer survey last year, but we can also go back and say and confidently say that we know our enrollment since 1950 in this district, and you can track that all the way to its heights in the 1990s to that slow decline going through current present day, and we've been pretty stable thereafter. If you remember from the demographer report, they will say that the anticipated trend would be a loss of about 200 students K through 12 within a 10-year period. Conduct stakeholder surveys and focus group. That's going to be worked on along with the benchmark and the data report and recommendations by a school configuration committee. Dr. Lewis and the rest of the CO team has began to develop that team, looking at about 50 members as of right now that will begin that work. Ultimate goal on that would be to bring a recommendation to the board within a 12-month period. So there's a lot of work that will be conducted with that. We certainly have a lot to work to do. The common question we repeatedly get asked is, what's the plan? That's what the school configuration committee will plan for. So that's exactly why we're having that. It's important work. It's very, very, very important work that we're looking at doing. Facilities, underneath that, hiring and engaging facilities experts. As you all know, or most of you know, BLDD is our hired architect. We also have another group named FSG, and that is our engineers that conduct walkthroughs of our district so that we can put together a facilities plan, which was listed as a goal. But beyond those two, we work closely with the St. Charles Fire Department. They do walks within our buildings and with our Director of Technology to our technology facilities to ensure our buildings are up to code, first and foremost, and then some various other pieces to that. We also have TMI HVAC experts conducting walkthroughs. We reach out to them repeatedly. And so we have a lot of experts that are willing to walk in our buildings at any point in time. We have great partnerships with them. And then for the other piece with the gathering stakeholder input, conduct surveys, focus group with students, staff, parents, community members to identify key concerns and priorities. That's typically done in surveys that are done in the second semester of each school year. Staffing, as you can tell, we're just looking to expand university partnerships and enhance digital recruitment strategies as technology continues to advance. And then the last piece, finance, conducting the comprehensive budget audit. We will bring that to the board in December. It's a great report. We do have that finalized. Implement incremental budgeting strategies. We already have it planned out to meet with our major spenders, our departments, going through the December 19th. So those meetings will be happening here in the next month. And then align the budget with strategic priorities. That's what we always attempt to do, and those shifting priorities are very important to us to make sure that we can fund them. And any questions for me? Thank you.
Okay, so for the culture, we have 3 different goals. First goal is that all students will receive targeted tiered support, and we do this through MTSS or PBIS. The second goal is that students and staff feel increasingly safe and valued, and we look at that climate and culture survey to get that data. And then our final goal is enhancing the community involvement, and Mickey has been exponentially involved in this process. So I'll kind of go through. These were our year 1 priorities. If you go to the second page, it explains what we've done in each of those areas. So for student support, developing and implementing a district-wide PD plan for Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions and offering a range of formats. I actually met with our coaches last week to start developing that PD plan. So we're using this first semester to kind of audit where we are as a district in regards to how we're utilizing PBIS within our buildings and where we are in our multi-tiered system of supports and the different tiers by building, and then determining some subgroups that we'd like for staff to work in regards to our district leadership team. We are currently doing some data gathering through care teams, so I'll be stepping into each building's care teams to kind of see what their process looks like and creating more of a streamlined process across the district, so that as students move from one building to the next, the verbiage is the same and the language is the same as families get involved. And then just providing those Tier 2 interventions district-wide. Our buildings are doing fantastic on this. Tier 1 is being implemented almost at 100% across all buildings in the district. We're getting there with Tier 2, and so that's kind of the goal, is to continue that process. For sense of belonging, currently, a lot of buildings are using the check-in, check-out process with students as a Tier 2 intervention, but this allows that regular communication with students. We also have some of the built-in AIPs or ACT labs in a lot of our buildings, so that's another check-in opportunity that teachers have with students. And then looking at integrating voice into MTSS, we're going to utilize some of the built-in leadership teams that are already available and already working within our buildings to start having them look at the processes that we're using for PBIS and having student feedback within that. We are trying to streamline communication. Mickey's been a big part of that. For PBIS, we'd like to use whatever communication platform is that is decided upon. We're also looking at using Qualtrics to be able to send out information, surveys, to receive feedback from community and students to get that information back to us and help us create a better process. And then using culture and climate survey, obviously, to adjust our practices. So looking at kind of what are the trends in each building, what are the areas that are ranked the lowest, and being very building specific, and then meeting with those teams and talking about how we can grow in those areas. And then finally, with community involvement, Mickey's been a huge part of this and working on just communication in general. There is a district-wide communication plan along with individual school plans, so the next step is just including reviewing plans and working to better align them. And then for the communication practices, they're currently working on selecting that district-wide communication platform to align communication practices. So meeting with staff members, administrators, families to observe demonstrations from 2 different vendors, and then using feedback from the committee to select a platform. Moving to one platform will allow for transparency and predictability for families who have kids across multiple buildings in the district at different grade levels, and every family member will know how to contact their child's school and where to gather information. The great thing about these platforms is they'll include 2-way communication, email, and newsletter capabilities for all staff members, and mass communications for phone, text, and email. Mickey's also began presenting at professional development days where she shares expectations around communications, so she hopes to keep that momentum going.
Awesome. Thank you all. Any questions from the board? If not, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I just think the way we've streamlined this is just very efficient, and we're on point of exactly what we're trying to accomplish. Kudos to our CO team and also the staff that's working with them. You all are really involved with this as well. So we're just as efficient as we've been in a long time with CSIP goals. So it's really cool. So now you can approve it, sorry, or vote to approve it.
Thank you all. Well, this is just an update, so
Oh,
it's
just an
for
update.
information,
Just
discussion.
discussion only.
Yeah, no motion needed, but thank you all for the update. Definitely good information. We'll move on to item 6.03, our high school graduation credits.
All right, here we go. All right, so we are here to talk about high school graduation credits and a recommendation to you to reduce those credits from 28 to 24. Just a reminder of our mission for the 3rd time this evening. So how we got here. So this is year 4 for me in this role as assistant superintendent. And I will say from really early on in my role here, I've heard consistently about graduation credits, asking why do we require so many? Can we change it? My very first board meeting, I was in this seat 7 or 8 days on the job, and I had a board member who's no longer on the board lean over to me and say, when are we changing these? When are we fixing these? And what I didn't know is that it's actually not my decision. It is the decision of the board to do so. So we are going to make a recommendation to you this evening, and then the decision is ultimately yours whether or not we reduce those. So in September, like I said, a busy month, we assembled a high school credits and schedule committee to look at 2 things. One, to look at our high school credits and to also look at our high school schedule. Now, those are two separate entities, so I want to keep those separate for tonight's conversation. The credits are not dependent upon the schedule, okay? So I know we still have committee work that we're doing when it comes to the high school schedule, but tonight we are focused on the credit portion. So we met in September. It was a combination of, we had board members, Karen and Ellen served on that committee, our CO team, principals and teachers from both high schools. We formed this committee in September. We've met several times since then, have another meeting this upcoming Thursday. We sent out stakeholder surveys to staff, students, and parents. The committee reviewed the state graduation requirements. We looked at the practices of surrounding districts across the metropolitan area and across the state. We reviewed data for our students, and of course, we reviewed the feedback from those surveys. So our current reality, I want you to see that the state of Missouri, they are outlined over here in the blue. St. Charles, we are in the middle in the red. And then I put this in here, although these are not graduation requirements. Just want you to see how Missouri higher educational institutions like Mizzou, University of Missouri, St. Louis, what they require for admittance. And so as you look at our credits, you will see that when you compare our district to Missouri, or our district to the state, we require the same amount of ELA credits. We require the same amount of math, social studies, science, fine arts, PE, practical arts, health, and personal finance credits. The difference lies in our electives. We require students to take a half a credit of computer applications and several additional classes in just electives. And so for our students, if you're talking about semesters, that comes out to about 8 additional classes that they will take over their high school career compared to other students across the state when you talk about semester classes. So how do we compare across the area? So you can see here that we are at the top of the St. Louis metropolitan area when it comes to graduation requirements. Pretty much every district in the area, with the exception of Ladue and Wentzville, align themselves with the state. On the right-hand side, you can just see some of the highest districts in the state. And there are more on this list. I did not list all of them. There are several who are at 28, but of course none in this area. So Independence is at 28 and a half credits. They are the highest in the state, and then followed by us and several others who are at 28. So getting into the feedback, so we had 76 staff members complete the survey, 278 students, and 173 parents. So one of the questions, so when we talk about the benefits of our current plan, so you could categorize those into 4 overarching categories. So we had high expectations, exploration, block schedule, and a safety net. So for those who saw benefits in our current requirements, they said it demonstrates a high degree of rigor compared to other districts, prepares students for life outside of our district. It provides students with the opportunities to take a variety of electives, helps students discover new interests. It allows access to AP and dual credit. It aligns with our block schedule. Teachers value having additional prep time. Students who fail the class still have time to catch up and graduate, and it supports involvement in CAPS and Lewis and Clark. The setbacks fell into 4 categories: workload and stress, equity and access, graduation and dropout rate, and then elective fatigue. So 8 courses per semester is a lot, especially for those who are on the AP and honors track. Students struggle with managing a workload of 8 classes. Transfer students struggle to catch up, and I can actually attest to this one. Transfer students and ELL students, when they transfer in on a different credit system, it is very complicated and tricky to get them to graduate on time. Most of the time I have to write, or the counselors have to write, an alternative graduation plan, and then I sign it. Also, limit students who want to graduate early, higher dropout, and lower graduation rates. Students run out of elective classes that interest them and take easy or repeat classes. creates disengagement, poor attendance, and behavior issues, especially senior year. So these are some of the collective things that were said in our stakeholder surveys. Then when we asked about the benefits and setbacks of reducing to align with the state of Missouri, the benefits fell into 4 categories: improved outcomes for students, reduced stress, flexibility and choice, and quality over quantity. So many students or many staff believe that this will reduce barriers, improve our graduation rate, and decrease dropouts. Better outcomes for students transferring into our district, including ELL students. Fewer credits will help students feel less overwhelmed by taking 8 classes, allowing them to focus more deeply on core courses and areas of interest. Students are able to prioritize classes they care about, take more rigorous courses, or pursue specialized pathways. And then lastly, this could eliminate those filler, quotation mark, classes, encouraging students to be more intentional and engaged in their schedules. Setbacks that people suggested: elective course enrollment, lowering standards, early graduation, and just logistics. So many worry this will reduce students' exposure to a variety of elective courses. Many worry this could shrink some programs or lead to job cuts. Some staff believe this will water down the diploma and compromise instructional rigor. Concerns that more students will graduate early when they may not be socially, emotionally, or academically ready. And then questions raised about just how do we logistically do this with kids being on 2 different tracks when it comes to graduating, whether it's not the 28 or the 24. But what we heard, when you look at all of the feedback, over 73% of our stakeholders supported aligning our credits and reducing those to match the state. And based on that, our committee unanimously voted to recommend the reduction of credits from 28 to 24. So the recommendation, as you see on the left, would be to reduce our electives down to 7, which would give us 24 credits total to graduate. It aligns graduation requirements with the state of Missouri. It maintains access to electives, so students can still take a wide variety of courses. They simply won't be required to take them. It preserves opportunities for rigor, so students will still be able to take AP and dual enrollment courses. They will still be able to enroll in CAPS and Lewis and Clark and SAMS. And it also provides flexibility and a safety net. It gives students more room in their schedules to focus on areas of interest, address challenges, and pursue advanced opportunities. So how we plan on rolling this out? Because this isn't an overnight change. We're not just going to say that starting in May, we are reducing the credits down to 24. So the class of 2027, which are our current juniors, would drop to 27 credits. The class of 2028 would drop to 26 credits. And then the class of 29 and beyond, so those are our current freshmen, that will be the first group to graduate off of 24 credits. This is a similar approach to what other districts have done who've gone on this journey. So there are several districts who have gone on this journey and have reduced their credits. And so this approach is very similar to what others have done. So implementation and rollout. So of course, step 1 is getting board approval and updating our board policy. Step 2 is stakeholder communication. And so we will be sure that we highlight this in our district newsletter, principal website, or our website and our principal newsletters. We will develop and distribute a graduation requirement transition FAQ. We will need to revise our high school enrollment guides. And then lastly, we will need to update PowerSchool. So that's the recommendation from the committee. Are there any questions or comments?
I like this. I want to vote yes for this. The only thing that's concerning me is, okay, I know that in January, they start working on schedules, the counselors and everything.
Yes, they do.
And I don't, even just going down one, I don't want them to be overwhelmed. Like, I don't want them to have to give up Christmas or Thanksgiving or anything like that. I mean, I don't want to put extra stress on them by starting it for this next school year. I mean, sometimes I really think that maybe we should move it down so they can do what they're doing this year and then prepare for the next year. Because I like the idea. But that's my main concern, because I don't want to stress them out. Because I know they have a lot on their plate.
So with the counselors, there's not much the counselors will have to do. So the course enrollment guides and all of that will fall out of my office.
Okay.
So my office will handle that. So it will be a matter of simply the Power School piece and the communications piece. And then, of course, when they do the high school enrollments and speaking to the students about that. But our counselors were for it, so I don't believe it will be a huge impact on our counselors.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay,
Yeah.
can't guarantee it.
Yeah, I cannot guarantee it.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Earl, what did, like a majority of our teachers, what were their, I guess, their thought process on it? I know you had different, stakeholders listed up there, but how was the, I guess, how was the demographics? How did it lay out with the teachers? Like percentage of what they thought, was this a good idea? They looking
I
forward
think
to it?
overwhelmingly our teachers, there's always some in every group. There were some in every group who were not for it. But that number was 20% to 25% in just about every group that we saw. So even our teachers, I don't have their specific numbers off the top of my head, but if you look at their comments, they were overwhelmingly for reducing the credits.
I didn't think of this question until you're just going through it. Do you know how this would have affected like our past graduation rate for like the past year or something?
I don't, but I can tell you that this is the first time in over a decade that last year was the first time in over a decade that we actually hit 90%. And we've had these graduation requirements for at least that amount of time plus some. So I can only assume that our graduation rate will increase as a result of reducing those credits.
Yeah, sure. I just didn't know if we had like some type of baseline notional direction to know what it would have been if we had been aligned to the state, I guess, earlier. And I'm of a similar way. We should match ourselves to what the requirements are, not some somewhat arbitrary number that we come up with ourselves. So I think this is a great idea. Power School has been fun. We talked about the counselor stuff and everything coming out of your office. Is there concern around that on a timeline, or do we still feel like that'll be?
No, so what that happens now. So we have students now who, like I said, who transfer in, and then we graduate them on a lower credits based on where they came from. So if we had a student who just transferred to us at the start of this year, and they're coming from Pattonville, or they're coming from McClure, and they would have 24 credits. So the counselors would come to me and say, this is the graduation plan. The student will not obtain the 28. Would you approve graduating them on 26 credits? They send me the graduation plan. I approve it. It goes to Nick Mason. He adjusts it in Power School. It's a pretty quick switch, but I'm also not Nick Mason to be able to speak to what that would look like for an entire class to do that. But I believe it's a button that he would essentially click for those students.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, like I said, I'm for it, but I probably won't vote for the schedule you have up there.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid of what might happen to the guidance counselors. Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I make a motion to approve the high school graduation credits.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes. Item 6.04 is our AI presentation.
Oh, David was here. He could have talked about it.
He was hiding in the background.
I will say that I'm not Nick Mason either. And he has impressed me in what he can do with Power School, though. And so I'm
David, just tell us, is it one button he presses or what? No, I'm just.
It might be one or two. We always make the joke, he's back there, 0101 answer, right? But no, he expressed some concern about it, but it sounded like he figured that it was possible. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
good.
So, good evening.
Hi.
Am I good to start now?
Yeah.
You're
Okay,
good.
so
Yep.
I know you have a lot going on tonight, but good evening. I'm glad to be here. I'm David Taylor. I'm the Director of Technology for the district. I'd just like to go over K-12 education and AI. This is a very long presentation that I'm going to try to keep to like 10 minutes. So I'm going to just go ahead and we're going to go ahead and hit the next slide here. So while we're talking about AI, I asked AI to create this presentation for the board. When I created that, I will say, full transparency, I didn't keep any of the text that it put on it, but I did keep all the images, so that's where all the images came from. But just some background and overview of this policy that, let me see here, the EHBD Artificial Intelligence Use Status Draft that you guys are going to be voting on tonight. So background on this is kind of where we had a policy come out, kind of see how it goes. Artificial intelligence is changing very, very rapidly, especially in the technology space. So I thought it would be good just to kind of give you an overview of kind of what, as a tech director, what we look at. So I always use this prep whenever I take a look at any process in technology. So you want to carefully evaluate your current processes. You want to find that pro-con list, come up with the realization of, okay, does this process make sense or not? Explanation, and then explain the explanation to our board members, our staff, our students, our parents and community, and then promote. And this one's very, very important, especially as it comes to AI. Moving forward, as AI is concerned, I feel that we all do need to be on a unified front of what our district stance is. Next slide, please. So let's talk about the benefits and concerns really quick. The policy actually outlines this really well, too. But essentially, when talking about AI, there's kind of different categories. We kind of have to split this up into our teachers wanting to use AI to do administrative work, our administrators wanting to use AI as an AI tool, versus the operational side of it, where we use AI in the back end as technology. That could either be for cybersecurity, data privacy, securing our networks, et cetera. Right now, as a district, AI applications for students, we do not allow them generative AI access. And that is mainly because of the data privacy concerns, but also the safe search aspect of it. AI hasn't really kind of gotten to the point where we can for sure say, okay, this is a safe AI generator. There's still ways around where they can prompt it a certain way to get an image of something they shouldn't see or something like that. The big concerns that I see that our district must address now, the district resource approval process, and this is also outlined in this policy, where it does recognize there's got to be likely more than one AI coordinator. We have plans in our district, and last April we rolled out a software approval process. What I would propose here, recommend, would be to expand that to a district resource approval process. Kind of rebranding that, meaning that AI is kind of in everything now. Companies are baking it into solutions we already own as a district. They're turning those options on. There's not really a way to turn them off. We need to kind of just review all of the tools that we use, and then also educate our SCSD community. Another big one is the personal versus work. Making that separation. We do have to recommend you guys, we all kind of tighten down, personal devices that staff bring with student data on them potentially, or AI on their phone that can read their email. It is something we do need to take a hard look at. And all things that we are currently doing as well. This is why an importance of an AI toolbox. So generative AI right now, we gave teachers access to Gemini and Notebook LM. The benefit of us getting it kind of out ahead of that is that they aren't using their personal accounts or their personal computer and ChatGPT to upload data or put in sensitive information. And it's also all vaulted into Google, so we also have oversight over that, which is what we're required to do by law. AI tools embedded in software, this is what I'm saying. If you was just saying about the applications, modern day software as a service, AI has been used somewhere either in the production, within the application, it's everywhere now, or they're calling it AI and it's just a large language model or a reference model. We're seeing more and more of this. The dangers of AI features are free use. So it used to be if you had a free application, it might have got some of your data, stuff like that. Well, now with AI baked into it, a lot of these free applications now are taking more and more of that data they're able to figure out and re-identify information around there as well. And then for technology and operational support, AI can very, very much benefit us in the way of making us more efficient with less. As we all know, in public school districts, we have to do a lot with very little in the technology space. So aligning with the district priorities, I really enjoyed the CSIP presentation earlier. So this does support our CSIP goals, operational efficiency and automation, student protections, and enhanced cybersecurity. We are actually looking at a secure email tool that uses AI that would help with all the spam and phishing that are coming in, and also kind of just cut back on those junk emails coming out and kind of give us oversight. Meet educational standards. So this is kind of now taking it into the student section. If moving forward, forming a committee to really talk about this, if we ever are going to allow student use of AI. Most districts, and Moornet actually, our internet service provider, hosts a conference. These are really where, like, some suggestions they have is creating AI transparency statements and badges, essentially saying, just kind of like what I did when I first came up here. I used AI on this presentation. I was very transparent on what I used it for. And then you could have an AI scale, just like you would have curriculum standards or things like that if you ever move that direction. From free resistant, meaning no AI was used or no AI is allowed on this assignment, to empowered, meaning you're encouraged to use AI for this assignment. And then the need for quarterly reviews. This is, again, is something already kind of on our scope, but really bringing in all those departments, breaking down those silos. So getting technology, curriculum, finance, and our teachers, community members involved in a committee deciding kind of overall broader direction, but also just quarterly reviews with staff of those departments to see, okay, what tools are we using? Can we manage this? Are they secure? And including them in on that vetting process for our applications. Our path forward, again, breaking down the silos, impacts operations in education. I kind of touched on that. A lot of these other policies, I actually went and looked up the data governance policy as well to kind of cross-reference it. So as far as an ISO goes, an information security officer, currently we have a couple kind of designated techs, our network administrators for that, but also myself and our database administrators really kind of take on this data governance role and these ISO roles. And with that, the AI policy requirements that are in there and the federal policies and guidelines, especially with the retention policies, those are something we all look at. Are those chats being kept, like in Google versus ChatGPT? And then the AI initiatives break down our siloed technology. That's going to help with our CSIP goals as well. That's kind of bringing all of our data together so we can have that data on hand right away for you guys to make informed decisions. And then also consolidate of software as a service tools. I was really surprised when I found out that our district has over 1,400 applications that our staff uses. I will say about 400 of those, maybe one or two staff members use. They sometimes are paid, sometimes are free, but there are always kind of consolidations that we can do to better streamline this process. And that is the quickest I could have got through that. I'm sure if there are any questions, comments, or concerns, and I just wanted to leave you with the last thing. If you've read through this policy, I actually really did think that the explanation that they put at the beginning is a very good representation of a policy we should recommend to adopt.
Awesome. Any questions, comments for David?
I have a question.
Absolutely.
So I come from the special ed world, right? So how or what kind of training will our special educators have in how to use it with IEP paperwork and re-evals and such because of the security needed?
Absolutely. So I actually, on that topic, there's kind of two platforms. One is, yes, what information are they putting into generative AI and who can see that? This is why the importance of vetting, like the Google Gemini. Google has in their privacy policy that data is not being used anywhere else. It's not being used to train their models. We can hold Google accountable to that. The other side of that is in the name IEP, right? Individualized. Are those plans going to get less individualized if we start using AI? And that is a very, very big concern. It is still adapting. But the answer is ultimately we would like to leave it in the hands of the professionals, which is our teachers, and to make that judgment, or teachers, special education teachers, administration.
Yeah, it could really help with the time it takes to do all of that paperwork, right? So.
Yeah. And as far as education goes, I'm always willing to talk to the schools, talk to the teachers. It is one thing that I think as a technology department, it's hard to get out in front of the teachers, but I'm always willing to and educate them that way as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Awesome. Thank you, David.
Yep, thank you.
David does a great
We
job.
appreciate all you do.
Thanks,
Thank you
David.
very much.
Oh,
We'll
you
clap for him. We'll clap. We'll clap. If no other questions or comments, I'll make a motion to approve the AI presentation as presented. Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we will move on to new business. Item 7.01 is the student calendar. Dr. Lewis?
I think, one, I want to thank the calendar committee that joined us. It was about 40 or so of us. I would say, though, we did complete the calendar and agree on the calendar in record time. So kudos to the group for that. Few highlights. One, as always, there's a few things in our district that we really take pride in. One is not starting on a Monday. Two is having a 2-week winter break. So we certainly were able to do that. But I think we have a rock-solid calendar. And this year, in previous years, that winter break time to give our staff a chance to rest and recharge wasn't nearly as long, but we certainly will have a 2-week winter break. So I think that's a positive.
Any questions or comments regarding the calendar? If not, I make a motion to approve the student calendar for the 26-27 and 27-28 school year as presented. Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes. Item 7.02 are policy changes that have been sent to us from MSBA. Some of these are revisions and updates, but any questions?
I can use ChatGPT to answer
There you go.
Look, I got my phone talking to me. Hence the AI presentation. Any discussion regarding these policies? If not, I will make a motion to, what?
Hold on for just a second.
Yeah.
Can we, I want to make sure, did you want to talk about JECA too? Because I've been looking at it a little bit.
If you're
I
ready
think you had a
to-
good, I think you had a good catch here, so.
Okay,
Please do, because I think we need to talk about it.
JEC 2.
Okay.
Is about open enrollment, and there's a section that is enrollment at the option of the district, which states that the children of non-resident employees may enroll in the district without paying tuition, provided they work at least half-time. So that's an option that we would have. I had a question about how the district would handle that. Would it be allowed or not?
So Ellen brought this up to me real quick. I appreciate you doing that, so I could look at it real quick too, because we've had there's a lot of policy changes in here. The key too is it's optional, right? It's optional. And so I think, and I'll let Dr. Lewis chime in as well, but I think not only do we need to look at, because it's basically just some different language that they're using here because of Senate Bill 68. The non-resident certified employees, and then the second bullet point there, but also the contractors and employees are on there, and we don't do that right now. So we need to, I think we need great catch. So I think we need to look at that more. Do you?
Yeah.
So what I would say is, and we can discuss it more, but that was a great catch by you, Ellen. I think we need to take this off this time this is my recommendation, and let us look into it some more, and then we'll come back with a revised next month. Basically, all it's saying, if you looked at it real quick, and I've been looking at it here a little bit, is because of Senate Bill 68, they're giving us some options with some things. They're basically just rewording what we already do, but they're adding a couple other options, and we're not doing those options right now, so we certainly don't want to approve those tonight. So let's bring that back next month, if that's okay with you all. Would you recommend that, or what would you like to see?
I do. I think there's a few things on here, and I even had some notes coming in that we would adopt, but then go back and maybe change some of the language rather than trying to change it on top of MSBA's recommendations. But yeah, let's take it off and then unpack it some more. For us, for example, our contractors are Chartwells. Currently, a Chartwells employee cannot bring their child into the district. Another change, so that would be a change. Another thing that the policy is suggesting that at least part-time, currently only full-time employees can bring their children into the district. Another change on this one that would be, and these are the big ones, another change would be that if an employee, if they leave the district, okay, so you have a para, hypothetically, I'm just using, you have a staff member, non-resident, full-time, they come to the district, but if they leave the district, resign, et cetera, then their child is no longer allowed to complete the school year. This is saying that they will complete the school year. Those are things are just our current practices. This is a bit different, so I agree with Dr. Seifert. Let's take it off, revisit it, and then come back next
And
month.
they're clear options, so it's not, they're just the law has changed a little bit, so they're giving those options. I think we needed, like I said, Dr. Lewis said, we need to take some of those off and look at it as well. So we'll bring it back to you next month.
And the last thing I would say on this, one of the biggest options when you read the description is optional based on, it says overcrowding, but that's obviously class sizes.
And Ellen said it correctly, but I just want to make sure, it's the enrollment at the option of the district. So when you hear open enrollment, we're not talking about what we think open enrollment is in terms of everybody going where they want to go to school, and that's some legislative coming down the road. That's not what we're talking about. It's about us allowing people to come to our school district, like we already do in our agreements, but we need to make sure that's correct. So that's a great catch on Ellen's part.
Well, then I would like to move that we table policy JEC-2 until a later date.
Okay.
And that would need a
So
second.
that's a motion. Is there a second to that motion? Tammy, second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, and then I will make a motion to approve all policies except JECA 2. Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes. We will move on to item 7.03, which is the secure storage notification resolution.
And I would like to make a motion. I would like to move that the board votes on items 703 and 704 be conducted by roll call.
By roll call.
Roll call. That would need a second.
Yeah. Tammy, second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. So we will move on with item 7.03. So this is the secure storage notification resolution, and I'm going to let Karen lead just a brief discussion.
I want to start by thanking everybody who spoke tonight. Thank you so much. And because you did such a terrific job, our president is allowing me to skip over the long resolution, save you that time, and go straight to the resolved items that we'll be making a motion on tonight. If anybody is in desperate need of statistics, I know a lot of them. Just come to me and I'll give you anything you're interested in. So therefore, I want to resolve that the board, and make a motion that we accept these resolutions, that the board directs the superintendent and staff to update the student handbook to include information about the importance of secure storage of firearms, and that the best practice for secure gun storage is to keep all guns unloaded, locked up, and separate from ammunition. Resolved further that the board directs the superintendent to create an appropriate letter in English and Spanish to parents and guardians that explains the importance of secure gun storage in preventing minors from accessing guns, and that the best practice for secure gun storage is to keep all guns unloaded, locked up, and separate from ammunition, to be included in the annual registration materials at each school site, and requiring a signature acknowledging awareness of the secure gun storage responsibilities. And finally, resolved that the board and superintendent will continue to work with law enforcement agencies, and thank you for your support tonight, health agencies and nonprofits to collaborate and increase efforts to inform district parents about secure storage of firearms in their homes. And that's the motion that I'd like to make, that those 3 resolutions are accepted.
Prior to a motion, is there any discussion? I just want, if there's any discussion, questions?
I just have one question.
I just want to allow for comments if needed.
I just have one question on the back where it says the required signature, knowledge, awareness, and secure gun storage responsibilities. So what do we do when that doesn't come in? Like, we're requiring this signature to come back and be, I guess, in the, like, the student file. I don't know, what's the resolve on that, whether, you know, it says required a signature acknowledging awareness. So what if we don't get that signature back? What is the plan or?
Don't we have a signature on all registration materials that the teachers have to sign? I mean, the parents have to sign, I'm sorry. And so it just be included with the regular registration materials that they sign that they've reviewed.
Yeah, I mean, it's very informative, it's very, you know, to the point. That was just my only thing, my only question.
But I think it was great conversation earlier, and I appreciate the quick back end on a bit of it too. The only thing, I'm stuck in between 2 little points, and it's making me feel a little squishy inside. On one hand, I think all of the topics in gun safety is incredibly important. I practice gun safety at home, about to go hunting tomorrow, and making sure that we have it locked up safe and stuff for kids not to get into it. And all of the points and facts are 100% true, right? But as a elected body, our legislative and policy-making responsibility is just that, which we have in policy for gun safety in the school place, right? And within our general responsibilities, I don't think we have anything that covers resolutions or discussions of this type. Whether it's a resolution or not, I think that we always have the right to say, hey, Jason or central office team, we should do something like this and send letters and stuff home and have more education and everything else. But as it's set as a resolution, and we're directing it that way, what is the life of a resolution?
Well, it has been done in, well, first of all, over 30 states have a law that requires this. Yes. We're one of the few states that do not have a law that requires this. And because of that, the National PTA recommends this resolution be adopted by the school boards in school districts of states that do not have those safe and secure laws in place. So the National PTA, that's where this came from.
Sure.
I didn't make it up. I didn't create it. And there are many school districts right now in Missouri who have already adopted this that are great models. I think it was Kirkwood. I sent it to you what it was. But there are a few that have really done a wonderful job with this. And so it's not anything unusual or unique to school boards in Missouri or throughout the country.
Sure, and I don't think it has to be. I think it's still a question around
And there has been a challenge, you know, with getting materials. I think a lot of people are uncomfortable recommending what to do with gun safety. Therefore, they avoid it, and therefore the problem keeps growing. But this is not an uncommon practice.
Sure, and I can understand that, and especially with it being common or uncommon, either way, even if we were the first ones to ever do this, I still think it's kind of the same question on what is a resolution in comparison to a policy.
All we can do is recommend, like asking parents to have their kids wear a helmet on their bicycle.
Sure.
Or we can't, you know, we can't go out there and enforce that.
Yeah.
But we can certainly recommend that students get vaccinations. There are many things that we recommend students and families to do to protect their children every year. This is the #1 killer Think about that. It's the #1 killer of children. And therefore, a resolution is worthy to make sure that we're doing our due diligence as a school board.
And I did ask some parents and community members as well, just for their opinion. I think, and thank you to all of you that shared tonight. I think we heard, support. I did hear some people, the other side, I think, of, who are you as a school board to tell us at home what we should do? I agree, Karen, we recommend vaccinations. We, have, the program of against drug and alcohol use. We don't say, though, parents or families, we're recommending you don't drink or do drugs. I mean, we can't really impose. So I think that's where I think with Daniel feeling a little bit torn, do I believe in gun safety and firearms being stored securely? 110%. I struggle with, is it my role as a school board member to tell parents and families what to do in their home? I think it could be a slippery slope. Because I had a community member say, well, then are you going to pass a resolution about abortion? Because that kills children. But would we, and I'm just saying, that was brought up by a couple community members. If we're going to say
they
as a
weren't
school
here, and I welcome their comments.
Well, that's why I'm sharing, just saying, this is something I think as a board we have to consider. If we're going to pass a resolution that will affect homes, and it's specifically parents, we're not asking the children, obviously, to lock up the firearms. We just have to consider that. At what point do we have the authority or not have the authority to tell people what to do in their home?
I think we have the duty. And I'll go back to what you said, Dan, about how you keep your guns locked up at home. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to as a Be Smart tabling person who never thought about, yeah, but my kid's going to go to this other person's house. My kid's going to get in a car. And where there's an unsecure weapon, and I won't know that. My kid's going to come to school with their friends in a car where there's an unsecure weapon. I'm sorry if there's people who don't agree with it. I think as a board, we need to make a decision if this is something that we're willing to support. And
didn't Mark Hollander say that the city of St. Charles has already adopted the resolution?
Yes, the city of St. Charles
So
adopts.
that's an example of an elected body telling people what to do. No, it's not. It's not telling people what to do. It's
No.
making a recommendation.
Yeah, it's making a recommendation that is not even enforceable, except by your state of mind.
Yeah, and
I mean, some people don't think about it.
Sure.
I've talked to a lot of grandmas who said, oh, I didn't even think about,
And I don't
So-
think it's even, that's me echoing. I don't even think it's much of a recommendation necessarily too. It's providing materials.
It's education, it's
Sure.
information.
Right.
And we are a school district. We educate. Right. So it is our job to educate and to keep our kids safe, right? It is our job. Our parents entrust us with the most precious people in their lives, and it is our job to do everything we can to try to ensure their safety.
And the last thing I'll say on this before I hope somebody makes a motion is that this is free. This is basically free. We spend millions of dollars in this state that we could be spending on educating children. We spend valuable teaching and learning time, doing drills, and educating our teachers on what to do in case a student gets shot in their classroom. And this is free. It's proactive, and it's, I don't see a downside.
Brian, did you have?
Well, yeah, I mean, with the Be Smart lady that came up there, I think she said she has some information that would be good to send as well. I'm still stuck on this, we send this home and we need it signed, required signing. I think it just needs to be informative, just like you said, we're educating. Well, we're informing people, this is all the things about gun safety, right? This is a good information pack. Here you go. We're going to send this home, but for me to require it to be brought back,
I
student
don't
needs to
think
bring
it's
this back.
required to bring
Well, it says
back.
required
It's a,
in
it's you
signature
sign it
acknowledging
just like they sign all the other registration materials,
I think you're gonna have a lot
correct?
of problem getting a lot of signed things back. If you send something out in a packet,
It's
combined with
it's not
Be
in a
Smart.
packet. It would be with the
I'm saying it's
registration
informative.
materials.
This is all informative, you know.
I think
it
though,
gets real
that's like, is
slippery.
that at our discretion, like, as a board, are we deciding like that it is a signed paper to send back? Is it in Power School? Like, I don't know that, is that our place, or is that something then we trust that the CO team and administration will enforce?
Go ahead.
Well, I think what Brian's saying too, though, is what does it actually say on the actual,
Yeah, it says
The
a
resolution.
the actual resolution is, I think, what we're talking
Requiring a signature
about.
acknowledging awareness, so.
Yeah.
Us requiring a signature, that means that required signature needs to come back and
No.
be put into some file. Then what is it for then? Why are we signing something?
It's
Where's it
just
go?
like, I've worked in a lot of registrations because I was a guidance counselor. There are a lot of papers in a packet, a registration packet that parents sign.
But anymore,
Now,
it's
they
all in
don't-
Power School. It's digital and you're
Yeah,
signing like
right.
one thing, but that's what we're
Right.
saying. Is
And I
But
that
it would be part of that package.
Yeah, and so do we have those? Yes. Could that be added? Yes. But I
Yeah.
think the question is, and that's not my question, the question is though, do we want them to have to sign that? Or just to at least get the information?
Just get the information and put it in the registration materials like you do everything else with the
Right,
registration.
and I think the question though is, are we gonna have them actually sign it though? Instead of just having, that's what I'm hearing.
Well,
I'm just-
and you know how
I'm
I,
just clarifying
let
the
me,
question.
let me tell you how I feel about this. We pass the resolution, you decide how you're going to carry it out. That's your job, you know what I mean?
But I also think then we can't outline it, and if we're gonna pass a resolution that,
I'm not questioning it.
I know.
I'm just certainly trying to clarify what the actual question is. And the question is, are we going to, because you all are going to, because you're going to vote. Believe me, if I get something to do, I will do it. I always
Right.
will do what you ask me to do, and I will certainly figure that out. But I think the question though, right now, what I'm hearing is, that, right now, the way it's read is they're going to, once you say vote yes to this, then the two parents have to sign it. You have to decide, is that what you want to do or not? And then I'll make sure it happens.
I think because it's linked in the annual registration materials at each school site and requiring a signature acknowledging awareness.
Right. It's, I don't think it needs to be a separate letter, but that's your decision.
Okay,
You're the
then-
superintendent.
But I think you have to vote on that to make sure that's open.
Yeah, I think that it's, it just says that it's part of the registration packet. I mean, don't they?
Because if the resolution says that the parents have to sign it, and you vote on it, then I'm going to make sure that the parents sign it.
Okay.
Well, that's what that's the question. Or can it say, it's just gonna go, the information will simply go home with the registration packets, but there's not a signature needed?
What-
That's the question, correct? Am
Yes.
I would say just take this part out.
No,
Require the signature
here's the
acknowledging
question. When you have parents fill out a registration packet, isn't that signed?
It just depends on what it is. There's different information in there that
Well,
they sign or
we
they don't
used to
sign.
I did registration every year. And when you registered your student, you signed that you had received the registration information.
So I think when it comes to the signature, so there's multiple forms within a registration packet.
Right, exactly.
And so each form might require signatures, and some parents can sign, some they can opt out and not sign. So I think it's whether or not we want to require them to have that signature on there, that it is something that they are required to sign? Or is it optional, or do you remove it at all? I think that's the question.
Well,
Yeah.
That is the
I
question.
personally would be happy that it's just in the registration material and turned in, but that's
That's good.
your
No.
decision.
Yeah.
no, it's in the
No,
it's in
it's
the
in the
resolution, so
resolution
it's
as a
not.
signature.
Well, then, if you want to take the signature
It's
part
not-
out, I'm
it's not
fine
me.
with it.
That's what the board, I think, has.
That's all I'm saying. I am all for gun safety. Yeah,
Okay.
My guns are in one safe, all my ammunition's in another safe.
I'm looking for where
And
exactly
I-
it is.
But require somebody to sign
It's
something.
the second to last
It's not my
paragraph.
question. The
Okay.
question is, are we gonna make them sign?
If I
Well,
may be able to add a helpful comment, I'm not saying that the other comments are not helpful, certainly, but we have a lot of red lights on right now. So, but previous to that, it says that this would be updated in the student handbook. And if we simply put this information in the student handbook, there is a signature that says we have read the student handbook. So I think it can be in my opinion, it can be as simple as just doing what it says previous to that, update the student handbook to include all of the information that is in that paragraph. And then the parent would then read, or the guardian would read, I did
Right.
sign, or
And
did read the student handbook.
There are numerous examples out there in this area where they have it in the handbook. And it's not a long, I mean, it's a blurb that just says how to secure your firearms. And don't you give out a student handbook at registration? Yeah. I mean, I'm just,
Well, then I would like to make a motion that we delete the requirement for registration and just include it with the registration materials.
Okay.
Do you want to take it all out of the registration materials or just remove the and requiring a signature acknowledging?
Taking the requirement, requiring a signature out.
Okay, so Ellen
Yeah.
made a motion to
That
pass
would
the
be-
resolution taking out that a signature is required.
Yeah.
Is there a second to that motion? And then this is a roll call vote,
Oh, well,
correct?
okay.
That's
and
what we
that would be,
voted on.
so we're voting on all three parts.
But
Well,
no,
this is
without-
a motion to approve the resolution as presented and with taking
with
out.
an amendment.
With an amendment,
With
yeah.
amendment.
So you made
Yeah.
that motion, I got a second, so now we'll do a
Okay.
roll call.
So, but
Yeah.
are we approving to take the signature requirement out? Or are we approving the resolution with the amendment?
We're approving the resolution with the amendment.
Okay.
As
Okay.
modified.
Yep.
Yes, okay.
So roll call, please, Kelly.
Gibson,
Aye.
Hewitt,
Aye.
Sickma,
Aye.
O'Hearn,
Aye.
O'Mara,
Aye.
Zaire,
Aye.
McGrawick.
Aye.
Okay. We will move on, that passes. Thank you, Karen, for your work on that and for bringing that to the board. We're going to move on to item 7.04.
And thank you for allowing me to do this.
Of course. And this is a discussion to rescind three motions previously approved by the board on September 11th. So this is, we can have discussion regarding this. If Brian,
Yeah,
you want to start the
I'll
discussion.
start off, and I have no qualms in saying, that, yes, I brought this to the board. I wanted to rescind this because, just to my feelings, and I'll go back to this, and I'll make statements on this, that this is not an attention grabber. My wife's here, you can ask. I don't care to have any attention on me. I don't want attention, okay? It's not attention grab. It's not no political stunt, nothing, okay? So what I want to do is get into how I feel about this. Now, I'm not going to just say my feelings, because I don't believe in feelings. They're not facts. So I want to get into some facts that I see and I think is important to our district. Now, things that I've heard tonight is momentum. We're all about momentum. Every email I get from Jason Seifert says all in. I wake up sometimes at night and I say all in, all in. Every day I get emails, all in. We have to live it. Right? So we have to live it. And I've heard everything about CSIP, 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 CSIP. We've talked about this constantly. So I want to go through our continuous school improvement plan. For number one, so we're going through, and I was looking through this thing and just kind of going through it. We can go into plan, going through the plan. So when we're all in, we see it right at the beginning, all in, right? Page number 2. Page number 3 says, and Jason Seifert, he often mentioned that this is a great statement. Somebody wrote it, I'm not sure who. But it says, all engaging, empowering, inspiring every learner every day. We are a diverse, student-centered learning community. We talk about diversity. We'll be getting into more diversity. We're looking through here. Then we go into page number 4. We go back to engage, empower every learner every day, and inspire. And we see our vision. We've gone through the vision, the values, going through the values. And we get to page 9, integrity. We align our actions to our values. In the Missouri School Board Association, which we are and we are responsible for. We are not responsible for this, that, and all the weeds and all that stuff. We got told that on the first day MSBA training. I was there with Karen. It says this, the board clarifies the district purpose, our CSIP, right? The district's purpose, direction, priorities, and desires, outcomes are recorded in statements of core values, beliefs, mission, vision, and goals. Our job and our responsibility as board members is to follow that and improve, and I think we have. I think we've seen the momentum. We've seen as we are all in together. Now, I see in other pages says all in. I know SCEA says all in for SCEA. I think as a district, it's all in for everybody. I said that in the very beginning. I wasn't supported by SCEA, and that's fine. I don't care who I was supported by. I told them in the very beginning that I am for every teacher here. It doesn't matter what group you are. We are SCSD, and I believe the shirts used to say United. There's a reason why it says we are not united. It's because every person that here is the purpose is to help each one of these students here. Now, when you take that away from somebody, I don't feel that that's all in. I don't feel that when we go into even further into here where it talks inclusivity, that has nothing to do with inclusivity. That has everything to do with exclusivity, right? We are excluding 88 members of our school district. We are telling them that they cannot speak at new teacher orientation, they cannot have a table, and they cannot put up a billboard in a school. Those are the three things. So that's my concern, okay? I think we have worked good as a group here. I think for somebody calling me out to say that I'm doing something politically or personally driven is wrong, because I have shown previously when stuff was brought to me, when brought to us, I was the one that stopped the meeting and said, you know what? We need to do something about the cell phone policy before the state did it. I don't care. I'm here for the students, and I want our students to go forward. And if we can't do it together, then there's going to be a problem. Our momentum is going one direction, and it's going up. I think it's proven in our APR scores, right? We're at 90%, right? Where were we last year? 77. And the year before that. So we have been all in. We've done it how many years? 13 years together now when we're all presenting at the new teacher orientation? We have been all in together, so I don't understand the big change. Something has happened, and I don't see us in the future, is it continuing to improve like it has. That's my heart, my passion, our school district to go and continue to move forward. Has nothing to do with any kind of political anything. I want it to be the best in our school, and I wanted to bring it up. I mean, Daniel wasn't here in some of the meetings, so I know he's way smarter than I am. If he's got something that is important to say, even Karen said, I wish Daniel would have been here, so I would have loved to hear what Daniel had to say. Okay? I'm not an eloquent speaker. Maybe Daniel's got something else, and I'd love to bring up discussion. I'm not trying to rescind something because I have hatred towards somebody. No, I don't. I just want our school to be the best. And I think being all in, as we continue to say all in, is not excluding people because we're not part of a certain group. That's just me. Now, I've been on good teams, and I've been on great teams. There's a great distinction between what a good team and a great team is. And I want us to be a great team. And if we're not all on the same page and all in together, we're not going to be a great team. I just hate to break it to people. It doesn't work that way. So I'm just opening it up for that. I don't think that we broke any board policy. MSTA was not breaking any board policies. I think that was stated in our meeting. So I just want to open it up. Like I said, that's why I brought it to the board. That's my heart and where I'm at.
I'll take a moment because I was not here, and I will take an opportunity. Obviously, I'm behind on missing some conversations, so I wasn't in that initial discussion. So all I can do is tell you where I was at the time and kind of been thinking about it now. But first, appreciate the passion, right? I think leveraging back what we learned from CSEP today and explaining where you are for stuff is always important. We have a big thing that we work through all the time of speak up for stuff, and I think that goes in line with it, especially talking about kind of values and behaviors for things. I don't think coming back today, technically, is against anything within our policy to have the discussion. The grievance itself and the resolution tied to that grievance is what was set, not the fact that we can't come back and vote on something, because there are often times where we do have to go back and fix something. Just like if we had a policy, just because we vote on a policy one time doesn't mean we can't have the chance to go back and do it again. Not an exact apples to apples comparison. But in this case, I'm not refuting anything that you have. For me, it does link into a bit of what our policy has for the exclusive kind of partnering. Now, exclusive partnering, right, is who we negotiate with. It doesn't necessarily directly always equate to those types of opportunities. And I hear you what you're saying of give everybody an opportunity. What we're having here isn't technically removing that opportunity. saying nobody can be within it, but it's true that by limiting the amount of ability to obtain that resource, you are kind of by proxy doing that same effect. But it also isn't uncommon with, union represented employees. Look, I may or may not work for a company that just had a ratification today. There's one, right? There's one union here, there's one in another, different house up in a different state. It is generally practice that you have those specific things, and it comes into more of voting bodies of represented employees who want to bring those in, not that they always get the rights for stuff. So where I'm at, I think you hit a lot of stuff right on the head, is I kind of agree and honor what the board had for a previous decision, so I kind of lean towards that way. There at the moment in time, I think it would have been a great discussion, but I don't think there's anything against policy talking about it today, nor about the decision that we made. And I do think as the largest body that we have, it does make logical sense to try to link up to it.
Anybody else, any comments, discussion points? Okay. So there is a procedure for the motion to be rescinded. Any member can make the motion to rescind. Any member may second it. It's not required that the person moving has voted for or against the motion during the prior meeting. And because there were 3 separate motions regarding the grievance request, there will need to be a separate motion to rescind each of these motions.
Is this one where we need a motion and then vote? Or is it just if you don't get a second, it?
No, it's motion, second, vote. And then because this is uncharted territory, I have it here to kind of follow. And typically what we've been doing, maybe you all have noticed, but I make the first motion in any motion we make, just to get the process going and for time's sake. So I will, and then obviously if a motion fails or passes, we go to, it's like following a game board here, so bear with me. But I will, if there's no other discussion, I move that the motion that was approved during the Board of Education meeting on September 11th, 2025, to prohibit MSTA from presenting information to new teachers at the beginning of the school year be rescinded in the entirety. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and then is this a roll call vote?
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
So the motion for that to happen, I'm trying to make sure I'm wording this right, failed. So then the board will move to the second motion. So I move that the motion that was approved during the Board of Education meeting on September 11th, 2025 to prohibit MSTA from having bulletin boards in the schools be rescinded in the entirety. Is there a second?
Second.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
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 Since the motion failed, we'll move to the third motion. I move that the motion that was approved during the Board of Education meeting on September 11th, 2025 to prohibit MSTA from having a table at kickoffs be rescinded in the entirety. Do I have a second?
No.
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 Yes.
No.
Okay, we have, all motions have, so those 3 motions fail, and we will move on to item. Item 8.01, which is our district financial report.
Well, my predecessor liked to say, whoa, 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 I got important stuff,
This
guys.
is the fun part, guys.
I'll wait. That's incredible that you just thought of that, Ellen. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to try to make this very quick as the meeting has been very long, and I recognize that, so I certainly don't want to keep you here any longer unless you have questions. But as we look at the year end for October on the financial report, and you compare it as a comp back to 24 of October, you'll see we're up in revenue, surprisingly, in federal and in state revenue. And we heard all the the difficulty stories, what happens with the federal government does this, with the Department of Education, what happens with this, and they shut down, and so on and so on. I will give kudos to our federal programs coordinator, Nidra Wolfolk. She's been doing an excellent job of turning in everything as quickly as she possibly can to get federal reimbursements, and we are up about $400,000 in federal reimbursements this year at the same time that we were last year. So we're seeing that little bit of a tick up in our fund because of that piece. We're also up in our local revenue by a hair. Is not unanticipated at all. Our spending is relatively flat compared to the previous year, with the exception of only salaries, which is to be expected. We're about $600,000 more at the same time, which is what we anticipated with the salary increases that were provided. Another area that we're down in is benefits. We know that can change very quickly, but right now I think we've got on here, we're down about $600,000, a little over $600,000 in our benefit payments going out as compared to last year. So our fund balance in our self-insurance needs that. So we hope that's a continued trend, not only for the financial aspect, but also healthcare employers is very important to us as well. No concerns at all financially. This is our critical period as far as being able to make payroll on November 20th and December 5th. Our December 20th payroll will not be an issue at all. There's no concerns. We should receive our first local tax checks coming into us. I think it's December 12th. It's a Friday. The second Friday of the month is typically when those come in. So we'll start to see those, and we'll start seeing that trend upwards. Open enrollment ended last month, so everyone had the opportunity to enroll or change their benefits. So that took place. We're good to go there as we enter January 1st. Our business office is currently making all of those changes in our financial software for that. The audit is complete. It could have been ready, but I didn't want to push it and then it not be ready, because we know that happens. So it is ready, and it'll be ready for December. We will have several things coming to you as far as recommendations for bid approvals. Busing, those bids have been taken. They've been opened publicly and are currently under review. We have roofing projects for Blackhurst, roofing for Blackhurst, Knoll, Coverdell, and Lewis and Clark that are going out for bid. We will bring those to you in December. And then under development right now is the construction that we're planning for summer at Harris, St. Charles West, Knoll flooring in their office, flooring at Hardin's office, and then some safety features at early childhood that we've heard from the staff that they would like us to investigate. So we're in the planning phases. Our architects are in the planning phases for all of those projects right now. And that is it.
And no update at this point on SB3 litigation?
Oh, no update at this point in time.
Just to make sure everybody knows
Correct.
that at this point, in terms of the actual litigation piece.
Correct.
Any?
Yeah.
Any questions, comments for Jeremy? If not, I make a motion to adopt the financial report as presented. Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. I move to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. No one is opposed. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks, everybody.